Hi everybody, and thank you for watching. Today I would like to tie, let's say, a modern version of the Green Highlander. The Green Highlander is a great looking fly. It emerged in the early 1900s, and it has a special appeal when it comes to color combinations and stuff like that. So it will always be there. However, I tie it in a very modern version, and it is a part of a series of flies that I've made that I called Pimped Classics. So this is a quite complex fly with a 3-stage wing, and therefore the video will be quite long. But if you master these techniques, there is very few modern salmon flies that you won't be able to tie. So stay with me, and I'll take you through all the different steps, and hopefully you will enjoy it. Okay, let's start. First I'll take a flexi tube, 40-25, 20mm flexi weight, and I push everything back on the needle and everything is secure, ready to tie. Very easy. So I start putting wraps on my tube. Just going back. Remember to counter spin once in a while to keep the thread flat. Cut away the remains and just give it some nice tight wraps. Now I take small oval gold tinsel, pull it back, locking it just for a few millimeters forward, and then I wrap the oval gold tinsel very tight to make sure that there's no open gaps or anything. Normally I give it 3 or 4 wraps, that should do. Locking it, pulling it forward, making sure there's a nice exit, and cutting away the remaining, and just stow that away under the tube. Now for the tail I've chosen fluorofiber. There's a ton of materials you can use for tails, but the fluorofiber, one of the things is that it will stay very bright in its color when wet. So take a suitable amount, cut it off, and put it directly on top of the tube. Place it between my fingers, wrap, making sure that everything is on top. Nice, the thread is flat. Going back, a few tight wraps so that everything is in line, and then I take my nail and distribute the fluorofiber evenly across the tube. Counter spin, pulling it up. Now these 2 locking wraps is more or less to give angle. It will go in a much nicer angle when wet. Then just go forward. Now the length I go before I cut off my fluorofiber is approximately half the body length. Like this. Now this is the foundation for the floss body that we will do in a minute, so it has to be as even as possible. Now make sure that everything is nice, and then I start to taper cut it. Now this is because it will swim a little nicer, and it will look very good in the water. This is one of the small things that probably doesn't have a great influence on how the fly will fish, but it just looks nice. Like that. And then I do it vertically as well. Just grab the tube with my fingers and then just cut it a little bit. Like that. Okay, time for some oval gold tinsel medium. This is for the ripping that will go and lock the entire body into place when the fly is almost done or the body is almost done. So I'll just go forward and park the oval gold tinsel there. Then I take some floss lock it in, just pull the snippet back and lock it, and then cut it, and then I start wrapping it. Just make sure that it's flat so that it will go nicely on there. This is a multi-strand, so it's a bit hard to get super flat. Then you need less strands in the floss. Go all the way back, make sure that the wraps is just beside each other, go up, and then you go all the way forward to approximately the middle of the tube. This is going to be your exit point for wing number 1. So it's nice to have a little bulk to push the wing upwards. It'll stand a little bit better in the current. Locking the floss and cut away. Now the first wing we're going to do is of marble fox. Just cut off a little bit of marble fox. Remove the wool from the under part of the hair, and then just measure it. When you have the right length, the desired length, you lock it with your left hand, and then you take your thread, put it between your fingers and pull it down. This is to make sure that it'll go directly at the same position as we did with the fluorofiber. Making it track very nice. Again, the nail to distribute the hair fibers. And go forward approximately half of the length that is to the end of the weight here would be good. Cut away, like this. Now it's time for some angel hair. Now here I have taken some Pro Angel hair in the color electric yellow. Just how much flash you want in your wing is of course individual, but normally I'll just take a few strands. Just remember that flash is a very powerful tool in a wing. So too much, yeah, that's individual, that's up to you. I take approximately 8 or 10 strands, put it up, tie it on the top, and tie it in a nice V. Now this will spread the flash on the sides of the wing where it's visible instead of being hidden away inside that big marble fox wing that we are creating at the moment. Now to trim the angel hair that we just tied in, I'll just let my scissors run through. It will cut off the angel hair in different lengths though. Okay, on to the dobbing loop. Now the dobbing loop is the way we construct the front part of the fly. So it's very important that you, from the dobbing twister, goes on the inside of the wire. Deciding the length on the dobbing loop, just turning it around 2 times and then 2 times around both threads. Tighten it up, securing, and then we go forward like this, and we park the dobbing loop, because now we're going to tie in the center wing. Now here we have green marble fox, same procedure as with the yellow. Put it on top, tie it on, secure it with the nail, spreading it out. Make sure that everything is evenly distributed. And then 1 wrap behind, just to make it stand up a little bit more. And then we go forward, almost all the way to the end of the weight, cut away the remains, take some Pro Angel hair, tie it in a V, make sure that it's coming off right, and then just locking it down. Now, this doesn't have to be on the single strand level, just tie in a good amount. You can always remove it later. Take the scissor, trim. Now, see the good contrast in the wing. Okay, now we're gonna go to the main body, and here we're gonna use some Pro Salmon Supreme dub in the color Hot Lime. I take out a small amount and I pull it apart between my fingers, make sure that it is one even, how can you say, mass of dubbing, not too many threads sticking out, putting it into the dubbing loop, and then while I hold my dubbing twister, I can now work the, oh, there was something missing there, just put that in. Now tighten up again. Now you can distribute the dubbing within the loop. Normally I just taper it a little bit in both ends, and as you twist it you can see it will have a little bit of a cigar shape. So give it a little bit of Velcro to pull some of those flash fibers and synthetic fibers out. We want to have a glare on the wing, so, or in the body, so just pull some of those fibers out, twist it hard again. And now we're more or less ready to start wrapping. So what I do is I lift the center wing and I just start wrapping. Make sure that the wraps are tight and that everything is even. And then when I reach the center wing, I just pull it back and just put a very tight wrap on top of that marble fox, and it will just have a very nice stance to it. Secure the loop. Just make sure you don't want that sliding when we are giving it a work over again. So just cut that off. Pull the fibers back. Just giving it a little bit of workout with the Velcro. Now you see how the fibers will stick out. This will give a very nice glare to the body of the fly when wet. So as a feather for this fly, I use a kayak saltwater cape, yellow, just remove all the fluff from the bottom. We don't want that in this fly. For many other flies there's a lot of use for that, but check that it has the right length. Turn the fly upside down and secure it with the thread. And use the Hackle plier to run the feather all the way down through the body. Lift up the back wing and make even spins all the way down the body. Now what you're going to do is you're going to lock this rib with the oval gold tinsel, going the opposite direction that the Hackle is going down the body, and just make nice even wraps all the way up through the ribbing and through the entire body length. Now this will make the fly a lot more durable. Zigzag it as you go along. This will allow fibers and feathers to kind of get a chance to not getting locked underneath the ribbing. Go all the way up through the body. Pull the fibers back. Tie it down. Pull hard on the ribbing and lock it. This will secure a good tension on the ribbing so that the fly will become durable. Now pull the oval tinsel back to really secure it. Take off the hackle plier and cut away the remaining part of the feather. A little bit of brushing again. See how those flash fibers kind of come out of the body. They will blend in very nicely with the feather, giving a very nice glare to the fly. Now, just remove any fibers or anything. Cut away the ribbing, the remaining of the hackle stem, and just give it a few securing wraps like this. Okay, for the throat hackle, I use American Opossum in the color Hot Cyan Blue. Now, American Opossum has a certain glare to it by nature's hand and is just eminent for a lot of things. Now, as a throat hackle, it's much stronger than a feather, and it will blend in very nicely with the rest of the fly. So I just take a little bit of hair, put on top, securing it pretty much the same way that you did with the wings, spreading it out with your nail, making sure that it sits okay, and locking it down. Now, here you don't want to go too much forward, because now we are actually in the area where the head is going to be constructed. So just make sure that everything is okay. Now I use my scalpel to trim the hairs. Just cut that away. Like that. And now it's time for the last wing. Now this is a thinner wing, because I want to have the last black marble fox wing to be a kind of glow on the outside of the green and yellow marble fox. So it must not be so thick in the underwool. So just spread it on top of the tube. Make sure that it sits in line with the other two wings. Secure. And that has to be the longest wing. Now you can pull, if the wing is a little bit off center, you can just pull it. And now you securely wrap it. Cut away the fluff. Now, a scalpel is a very, very useful tool when working with hairs. Now everything looks good. So I'll just comb it, just to make sure that there's no fibers or hairs that is looped. Now watch how the wing is standing up very nicely, and that is one of the advantages of a three-stage wing. Just trim away there. Nice. Okay. Now it's time for the finishing. Just a little bit of red touch to the front of the fly. And here I use a Kayak hen feather in red. Just cut a little bit of a triangle at the front. This will make it a little bit easier to tie it in. flip the fly. I always tie the hackle underneath. Just make sure that it's tight. Take the hackle plier and start wrapping. Now here it's important that you pull hard back on the hackle fibers so that it will go very tightly just besides each other. Just pull that hard as you can without breaking it. Now go back to lock it. And yeah. And cut away the stem. Okay, now and as a new product for 215, I've made the Pro Jungle Cock HD Gen 2. After the success with the Pro Jungle Cock HD, I got a lot of requests from people that wanted more color, a little bit wider design, and for 215 we're going to give it to you. So here in the color setup Green Highlander, just flip the fly 90 degrees, place the Jungle Cock and just give it a few wraps. Flip it to the other side, place the second one, check that the angle and the length is okay. Now you can still correct it if it's a little bit off. Just make sure that everything is sitting nicely. Secure it. And now what I want to do is I want to cut off the ends at first. And then I take my needle. It's kind of like gift wrap. If you take your needle and you let your thumb run on the top, it will have a very nice curve to it. Just following the profile of the fly, just sitting exactly where you want it. It's not like with an ordinary jungle cock, where if it's wrongly placed, then it's just you cannot do any more with it. So a little bit of Sabagap to kind of seal the head, and then I place 11 millimeter Pro ultrasonic disc in the color red. Just push it in, hold it there for a few seconds. Now everything is in place. Now that's a nice profile. Cut away the thread, pull the fly forward, cut it approximately 1 millimeter in front of the disc, and give it a little bit of heat with the lighter. Just enough to make it nice and round in the hole. Give it a final trim with the comb and the fly's done. Now that turned out quite okay. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel or visit my website at www.prosportfisher.com for more information. So stay tuned and keep on tying.